As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be.
Oh man, it's 8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
BravBros. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of BravBros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shooter Magooter. Shoots, what's up, dude?
Happy Ides of March to all who celebrate. That's all I really want to say. It is
Who celebrates the... I will say I saw a remarkable amount of Ides of March posts today.
yeah. There's a lot of good memes out there. Honestly, like anybody who's praying on the downfall of their enemies, they celebrate the Ides of March.
Oh, is that what it
gotta be.
symbolizes that?
That's what it symbolizes to me.
Because of Julius Caesar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, why not? No, I'm just kidding. It's the eve of March Madness, and I couldn't be happier. This is one of my favorite sports weeks of the year, and I know we're going to get some people converted to being March Madness fans because that's what we do here.
I have a confession to make.
Oh.
You're going to be really bummed out.
No, I already know you don't give a shit about college basketball.
I don't. I really don't care.
Yeah.
Like, March Madness for my entire life has been kind of a whatever. Like, I appreciate...
because you were getting ready for like baseball season.
I was. That's
Like,
100%
in the
correct.
midst, yeah.
Yeah, I was never, like, in tune with it, except in pro ball.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, like, spring training is about making a team
Mm-hmm.
and March Madness. Like,
Yeah.
there's brackets posted everywhere in the clubhouse in spring training. Everyone puts a bracket in except yours truly, because I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't.
Kill.
But I'm not, because like I do understand it. Like, I get why everyone gets so jacked up about it, and I wish that I cared more, and I've tried to care more. I do care about the NBA now. Like, I like the Sixers. You and Georgie got me hooked on the Sixers.
Yeah.
So like that's a W. But as far as college basketball goes, like I just can't get into it.
That's fair. I think that's fair. And look, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's one of the most exhilarating things that you can really get into because there's games constantly, and you even if you're not really paying attention, you can just pay attention to the last minute of every game, and it'll be so much fun to watch. I'm excited. It always feels like it ends way too soon, but you know what? This gets me through the last like cold month of the year. It refuses to get warm up here.
I know.
Usually I've golfed like 4 or 5 times by now. I haven't golfed outside since like November.
I can't wait to
I'm
golf with you.
Miserable. I am so angry, and all I can do is sit in my house and watch Bravo and get mad at people I don't know.
I know,
Yeah.
dude. You watched the last like 30 minutes of
Oh
VPR
yeah,
tonight
watching with you
me.
is interesting. Yeah.
It's a whole thing, dude. I stand up, I like throw things, like I threw my journal across the room. I yell at the TV, and like, Dev, bless her soul, will like sit next to me, and like she'll give me a little bit of feedback just to like keep me calm, but like I can't imagine watching it with me. Like, I'd be annoyed too.
You look like the guy who, at the end of a game, like throws his TV outside and just smashes.
No. I don't break stuff. I'm not that guy.
All right.
I broken a video game controller or two in my day? For sure.
Yeah.
That's where I
You
throw
don't throw it
things.
at the TV.
No. No, you know what I do? And it's stupid because I've cut my hand before doing it. You're going to, I can't believe I'm
I
admitting
can't wait
this.
to hear this. Yeah.
I will I'll press it, like crush my controller.
In your hands.
Literally, and I've broken controllers doing that. You can look at my controller now, the back is ripped because I did that. So like on one hand, it's like kind of impressive because I can crush a controller with my bare hands.
Sick.
On the other hand, I'm so dumb. I have legit sliced my thumb open before
Oh,
because
God.
of this.
You know what you need is just like, you need to put a beanbag or something in the corner and just throw it as hard as you can at the beanbag.
Well, no, I don't
because then it
really.
won't break.
I haven't done this in a very long time. I'm not like
Okay.
that guy anymore. And I also like sporting events. I won't throw shit. Like I don't break things. I'm not that guy. I'm like the bummed out, like sad guy. Just
Yeah.
like, wow, everything sucks. Though everything in the world sucks because my team lost. That's me.
Sad for the week. Yep.
However, reality TV, Bravo, that can evoke some emotion on me. I will stand up. I will throw my notebook. I won't throw like anything heavy. I'll throw a pillow. I'll
Throw a tantrum.
wave my hands at the TV. I'll point. I'll say a lot of cuss words. People might want to come to a watch party just to see it happen.
Yeah, because they can just see me sitting back, relaxing.
Yeah, you'll see Shooter unfazed by my antics. He's seen this for like 17 years at this point, so he knows how it goes. But what a great plug. You guys can come and watch this live when we do our live show on April 27th with
Yeah.
Zach Peter. We're going to #NoFilter with Zach. We got a little night out with the bros. We're going to have some special guests from the Bravo world.
Yeah, we're still nailing that together. We've got a good list of maybes, so I think we're gonna put together a pretty special list for everybody.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some there. We're just kind of like trying to figure out what route we want to go. We got 2 options right now mapped out. We're going to go with one of those 2. We're going to discuss it more. But
There were definitely some Bravo celebrities that were brought up that you and I immediately were like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, because they don't want to hear from us either. Trust me.
No.
But April 27th, City Winery in Philly. If you're in Philly, get a ticket. If you're in Boston, drive down and get a ticket. If you're in New York, get a ticket. If you're in the Northeast at all, get a ticket. If you're on the West Coast and you're an avid listener, you claim to be like our #1 fan, and you're not on a flight out here to watch us live for our first live show, are you really a fan?
That's a good point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, if you come out from LA to watch us live, I'll give you a cool, crisp high five and a thank you for showing up.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like if you want to stage a coup and take us over a la Ides of March, now's the opportunity. Come on out in the end of April.
If they want to like take the show from us,
Take the show from us. Yeah.
so they're gonna come on
Gotta
stage,
kill us first.
kill
Like,
us,
yeah, that's fine.
and then take. Okay, yeah. Let me
Open
rebrand the
season.
whole thing. Let me rebrand. If you want to come and murder us and take over our podcast on April 27th at the City Winery, as long as you
It's
give
only
us your
fair.
money, that's fine.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's
fine.
fair.
Yeah, whatever. I've had a good run, but anyway.
Way to go out.
Yeah, could you imagine on my tombstone? Died at Bravo event. Anyway, let's get back on track here. We got a long night ahead of us. We got a lot to talk about. As you saw at the end of the Vanderpump episode, I was heated this evening. I was very heated. So let's get through our preamble so we can get to the meat and potatoes because I got a lot to say this week.
All right.
A
You
lot.
You want to start off with some news, or you want to
Let's-
get into the rose?
Let's start with some news because then I can do a rose and thorn and feel a little bit better,
Okay.
and then go scorched earth because I'm telling you, just watch out.
Somebody's angry.
Daddy's angry. Up first in the news, we got a lot of upcoming show news to talk about. So we got confirmed Mary Cosby sighting. She has returned to Salt Lake to hopefully save it. I don't know if she's got enough pull to save that franchise. It's got a long way to go, but it's a great start. We enjoy Mary. We didn't know how much we had in Mary until she was gone.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, it looks like the girls are on their first trip for the show for this season, and I guess the rest of them were coming out of a club of some kind, and Mary Cosby was sitting in the Sprinter van, very displeased. So
Beautiful.
that is already looking great. I'm fine with that. Anything's gonna be better than last season, I think.
Yeah,
Might be
don't say
famous
that.
last words. I know. I feel like, getting into season 2 of a lot of these things since we've started reviewing, there's a couple of shows that were just complete duds, and we're like, it can't be as bad as it was last year. And if it is, then I don't know where we're gonna go. Complete different direction. We might start reviewing The Bachelor. I don't know,
What
but
about Top Chef?
I would love to.
So
do
would
Top
I.
Chef.
Can you guys sound off in like the comments and
Yeah,
stuff?
let's put something out there. We're gonna try to do so. I know people talked about Below Deck before, but that's like there's 15 Below
There's
Decks.
so much to do with
where
Below
are we
Deck.
gonna go?
We'll do bonus episodes when you guys deem it necessary. If you say like, "Hey, you got to watch, it's getting good," we'll dive in. No pun intended.
Yeah.
But it's too hard to make it like a mainstay. There's just too much happening. There's too many captains, too many boats. I did enjoy it. We both liked it, but I think that's like when we need to fill in when we're short on shows and we have a little drought. We'll throw some Below Deck at you.
Yeah. But for now, Steele and I both looked at Top Chef and we're like, absolutely, like this would be so much fun to get
Yeah, it would be a
into. So
blast.
that's something that we could possibly just do remote. Just throw out a little half an hour episode and just be like, hey, you guys like this? Boom. Little morsel.
I like that. I like that. Let us know if you like it. If you don't, we won't do it. We do what you guys want us to do.
Absolutely.
But up next, I figured it was coming, and we finally got official word. Juan Dixon is out at Coppin State. He got whacked. Got the axe.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one on Twitter.
Yeah, you did. That was a good tweet.
Yeah. A lot of people appreciated that one. If you weren't on Twitter and you don't follow us, here's a good chance to follow us
our
on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at @Brav_Bros. Same thing on Instagram or TikTok at BravBros.
Or YouTube,
Or
at
YouTube.
BravBros Podcast.
There we go. We're getting better at this.
We're getting better, but like I thought we were getting better. And we did our live today with Zach, and he's so much better at plugs.
Oh my
Like
God.
he
yeah.
plugged for us after I tried to plug, and I was like, "Oh, that's how you do it," because I fumble. and he has like a whole thing, like a whole little shtick, and it worked. And I need to practice. I need to practice
get there.
plugs. Yeah,
Yeah,
plug
don't
practice.
worry. But yeah, if you're not following us on Twitter, do that. If you're not following us anywhere else, go follow us there.
Double plug.
Double plug. Triple plug. There we go. But Georgetown also just fired their coach, so I said the Juan Dixon should just go. You know, obviously it would be good for his career. Go D1.
Yeah.
Coppin State's not D1. Maybe it's AA. I don't know what the hell it is, but I've never heard of it before. So go to Georgetown. They've got very walkable streets that you can walk with your mistress, and it's accepted. So might be a good look for him.
I don't know. That might be a really bad look for him because he'll be trouncing around with his mistress in Georgetown. But he's doing that anyway,
Seems like
so
that's gonna happen
at
either
least
way.
get a job while you do it. But the last thing that we got to talk about is a little Winter House news. We were a little skeptical of whether the Toms were going to show up to Winter House. We didn't get both Toms, but we got a Tom. We got a short sighting in the Winter House filming. He was sitting with Corey, I think, at like lunch or something, but he will be back, which I'm glad that one of them's going to be there because I hope that there's like a drunken Winter House night where one of the dudes corners him and they start talking about.
Probably Kyle.
I'm sure. I don't know. Corey's a good guy to pull that out because he's not going to get too serious.
Yeah, but
and
I feel like
Schwartz will
Kyle's
resonate.
going to be the one to corner him and force him to answer.
And
Maybe
well,
make him cry.
they did have that moment where they talked about the divorce last year. So yeah, maybe Kyle could. Oh, let's
Especially
take
without Sandoval there, because if Sandoval, as much as like I would like him to be there because we need more, I don't really. It's a weird dichotomy right now. Like I don't want him on the screen at all because he's a terrible person.
True.
But I want him on the screen because I want more information about this, and I want him to like look really bad.
Yeah.
I want people to ask a lot of questions and make him uncomfortable because he's made everybody else uncomfortable. So he deserves to be on screen being made uncomfortable. So I would like to see him there, but you know what? I don't know what that cast looks like. Last season sucked
Yeah, it was
beyond belief.
brutal.
It was so bad. Corey was the only person on that entire show that I was like, all right, cool. Obviously, you get Kyle, you get Amanda, whatever. You get Craig, Paige. We see them in Summer House, Southern Charm. I don't need to see any more of them necessarily. This has to be a different dynamic, and it sucked. So if Schwartz is there and they have more new people coming in or Andrea there the whole time, we're going to watch. I just hope it's better than last year.
I think that it, again, famous last words, it can't be
I know.
worse. It cannot be worse, but
Definitely
maybe it will. If it is worse, then it's got to be done. You got to whack it because I don't think it's working.
Yeah, I agree.
But time will tell.
Yeah,
Time will tell. We will watch it as we watch fucking everything. But that takes us to our rose and thorn, and I'm going to let you go first because I need to end with my rose, so I'm in a good mood before I get in a really bad mood.
Okay.
Okay, so can you do that
yeah.
for me? Thank you so much.
So I'm going to start off with my thorns. Start nice and low, although it really wasn't that bad. There really weren't mean comments on the internet again this week, 2 weeks in a row, unless you've got something.
I think they were pointing all their hate at Sandoval, so we missed the bullet, dodged the bullet.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I kind of like the hate.
I do too.
But also, it's nice when people aren't mean to us on the internet. So,
well, if you dig
where'd
deep
it
enough, you'll
go?
find it.
Yeah, there's always something. My thorn this week was somebody who kind of just jumped on the bandwagon of the whole Sandoval thing. You could tell they were just like on TikTok, like hashtag Scandoval, just looking at all the videos. And she commented, "Is this like a show or something? I'm just like so confused."
Oh my God, stop. Don't be that
You're
person.
confused. I'm fucking confused, lady. Like Janice, please. I don't even know who she is, but she seems like a Janice. And I'm sorry if there's a Janice that listens to us that likes us, but
It's different. You're different.
yeah, you're a good Janice. This
Yeah.
is dumb Janice. Yeah. And you know what? Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on... No, listen to the
Quadruple
fucking show.
plug.
Like, yeah, no, we're just two idiots just sitting here on the couch that decided, like, hey, yeah, let's buy a couple microphones and just talk about Sandoval. No. Maybe if it was like a year removed, maybe we would have jumped in, but
Yeah.
we've been here, buddy. So relax. My thorn, or no, wait, my rose. A review that came to us this week, which I love. This is why we started the podcast, I think. This comes from Runtage or Runtage. I love your podcast. I love your perspectives on my favorite shows. My husband rarely watches Bravo with me lately, but I had your show on speaker the other day, and he loved listening to you guys talk about the shows, so we were able to listen together. Keep going, never stop.
Love to hear it.
Yeah.
We're bringing
recruited a
families
BravBro.
together.
Like, that's a happy wife.
Happy
We
wife,
made-
happy life.
Yeah. Husbands by proxy, again.
Let's go.
Yep.
I love that
You're
one.
welcome.
You're welcome. Happy to help.
And
Happy
you
to
could
help.
also, play us in like your baby's room. We'll put your baby to sleep because we have soothing voices.
Yeah. See,
Your baby's first word might be
fuck.
yep.
But all right. Well, my thorn, that was actually my rose, but I have a backup rose. I love that.
Oh, there we
comment,
go.
too.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is really sweet.
Bringing us together too.
Yeah. uh, I could do without you. But my thorn is from, I'm going to read their name because it's a fun name to say. From Kitty 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 Fire Island. They say, I rewatched. Don't call her Rachel. People cheat all the time. In plain sight. The saying, how you got 'em is how you lose 'em. It's Ariana Karma. She cheated, destroyed Kristen. They literally drove Kristen to madness at Kristen Doty. Two things. One, they did Doty dirty. That is true. She got fucked over in this whole scenario. She got, she wasn't great on, like, let's not forget that she hooked up with Jax, like, blew him on the couch while Sandoval was sleeping in the other room. Like, that happened. So she's not blameless. But this is a different scenario. You cannot compare these two. They're not the same at all.
I like that she took umbrage with us calling her Rachel too.
I know. Like, that's where you have a problem?
Your issue?
Like, get the fuck
Don't call
out of
her
here.
Rachel.
Yeah, what
That's a
a
fucking name.
what a sidestep.
How about
to
she doesn't
take.
call herself Raquel to make herself look more exotic?
Okay, I had actually an interesting conversation with Dev about this because she said the same. Like, why would you change your name? People change their name all the time when they go out to LA. That's not like crazy. The fact that everyone's up in arms about her being Raquel doesn't make sense to me. People do it all the time.
Stylist that came out and went through Schwartz's closet. It's like, you know what? We're also going to change your name.
I would not be
Actually,
shocked.
that stylist probably went back and said, we got to change your name now because of Tom Sandoval.
Her name's probably changed. That's
Yeah.
my point is like people in the modeling or the acting profession or music, entertainment
I get
overall.
stage name, but like, I don't know.
Is it a little weird? Sure. I'm just saying it's not like out of the realm of possibility in Los Angeles. Like it's not the craziest shit to happen. That's all.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm
Well, I
not
don't like
standing
this.
up for
Yeah, you're
anybody
standing
here.
up for somebody. I don't
People are
like
gonna
it.
think that I'm standing up too when I talk about
I think you're standing up.
Vanderpump.
People are
Not at
me. I
all,
am
dude.
people.
Oh, Dev said actors change their name in Hollywood all the time. Sorry. Actors change their name in Hollywood all the time.
Yeah, she's not an
Let me
actor.
clarify. She said actors. That's my bad. Misphrased? I just got a text letting me know. She's upstairs. I'm so sorry. I don't want to misspeak. She said actors change their name all the time. My bad. Thank you for the correct. Thanks, dude. Love you. But now on to my rose, and it's also an Apple podcast review.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of really nice ones this week. This one comes from Dom Gray 87, and it's just titled Yes, with a lot of S's. Did I binge this? Yes. We love to be binged. Y'all kill me.
Good.
I can't stop. Shut up. I can't stop laughing. I'm so close to being caught up. I listen to so many Bravo pods, but this one is probably my favorite.
Hell yeah.
Love to hear it.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah, we love to be binged. We've
Yeah.
talked about it before. If, we used to say every episode, if this is your first time with us, stop, go back to the first one, listen to that, listen to all of them, and then join us here. But that being said, there's a lot of episodes now. So, like, if you want to
got a lot
start,
of shit going on.
Yeah.
We understand.
but if you want to, like, check into a couple of them, go for it.
Well, I like that he said that he listens to a lot of different Bravo pods, and we're his favorite.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. So, that makes me feel good.
Yeah, and we're not competitive at all, so.
No, not even in the slightest. No. Anyway, as I was saying, let's get into what's going to make me really fucking mad tonight. Vanderpump Rules, and then Miami's going to piss me off more. Let's fucking go. But that takes us to Vanderpump, and I had a litany of issues with this episode, a slew.
Mhm.
There were so many problems, and it just led me to one conclusion. All of these people are assholes.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, left to right. The only one that comes out clean here is Katie Maloney. And I never, in a billion years,
I mean, Charlie, even though she backed the wrong horse,
Okay, no,
her
Charlie,
intentions were okay.
Charlie, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The rest- you mean the main?
Yeah, the mainstays.
that's
And
fine,
let
yeah.
me preface this whole episode. This is all coming from a place in which we technically don't know that Raquel is cheating
Yes.
or that Sandoval is cheating with Raquel. Okay,
Mhm.
so we're seeing this from a perspective of nobody knows, does not make it okay but a lot of this commentary is based on the fact that none of these girls know that they are
Right.
hooking up. Okay?
Yep.
Let me just preface it with that because I know people are going to spin this and twist it. Anyway, we start out the episode and we're still in Havasu, right?
Well, we're in Vegas still.
Vegas. Sorry, we're in Vegas, about to go to Havasu. My bad.
Mhm.
It's like the night after they're all getting fucked up and they're back at the room and Raquel is bombed. Everyone else is relatively sober. I mean, obviously Lala is sober. The other two seem to be pretty with it. The amount of backlash that Rachel gets for being drunk and eating food, first of all, was ridiculous. Second of all, we get a conversation between her and Lala. Everyone's talking about the fact that she went and swooped in on Oliver. Lala gave it the okay. Let's not forget. Like, should
Full on stamp of approval.
Yeah. Should Rachel have read the room a little bit? Yes, totally. Like, you should have seen that, all right, Lala kind of hinted at this before I did. Maybe let me back off. I don't want to be that person. She's not present enough to do that.
Right.
So she doesn't. She hooks up with them. Can you take an issue there slightly? Sure. But again, Lala said go for it.
Yeah.
She went for it. You cannot then use that as ammunition against her. When they get into the room, Lala says a mean thing first. Is it true? And is she right to say it?
Now, yes.
Now, yeah. But in the moment, she's like, but I would never, ever let you around my man with a couple of drinks. That's fucking mean.
And this is what's going to happen is it's going to get spun and there's going to be a lot of people out there like, whoa, look at the foresight on her. Like, first off, I don't think Lala has 1 ounce of foresight.
Zero.
I think she's only ever concerned with the present moment. I don't think that she ever thinks about the future. She clearly doesn't give a shit about the past, as we see later. So in
Crazy.
that moment, she's still, look, she's bent up about the Oliver thing. She talks about it in her confessional, which happens however long later. She's still bent up about it, and she feels like Raquel stole her from her or whatever fucking bullshit. And you get Katie and Christina that are also on Lala's side
Yep.
because they don't know that Lala gave Rachel the stamp of
But
approval.
she says
Then
it.
she says that she did, and they're still treating Raquel like she stole Oliver from Lala. So like that's how the whole thing started. And you're like, why are we talking about trusting, albeit now obviously it's very clear. But in that moment, why are we talking about Rachel around other people's boyfriends?
I will say,
At
I
all.
mean, okay, there's a little bit to address just with the fact that, yeah, she did ask Schwartz to make out. That was fucked.
Fair.
She shouldn't have done that. So, yeah, that should raise some red flags. This moment was just like an opportunity to pile onto that and be like, oh, see, look at her. She just hooked up with Oliver. Oliver is single.
Mhm.
Oliver is not with Lala. Lala has never hooked up with Oliver. She said
Yeah.
that he's cute. Just because you lost the battle, dude, like, accept it and move on. And then when you're on the bed and you're saying, like, no, like I did. I said it was okay. I said it was okay. That's it, period. It's done.
Yep.
You said it was okay.
Yeah, you don't have to go any further.
The only one that should throw a dagger here, if she wanted to, is Katie. Katie's the only one allowed to speak because she could say, well, I don't know. It just seems like a trend. Like, first it was Tom. Now it's Oliver. Like, what's next? Would that still be kind of like, maybe. But again, Katie's been slighted. She has every right to
Yeah, and I feel like Katie at the end of that dinner where Ariana was with her, I feel like she kind of let Rachel off with like a light punishment. Like she really wasn't mad at Rachel about that whole thing. She was like, thank you for telling me that.
Yeah, and maybe
And she wasn't like, maybe, yeah, she then like kind of internalized it and sat on it for a couple of days and she did feel some type of way about it. But it seemed like it was kind of over with. And now that she's with her girl squad,
Mhm.
it just seemed like a gang up moment. And look, like we're not defending Rachel in any way, shape, or form. No way, shape, in hell.
No way, shape, in hell. That's a
But
t-shirt.
when she's sitting there at the end of the bed, and look, I don't like it when people, if it's my bed, don't come into my bed with a full plate of food with your drunk ass. Because you're going to get some fucking chicken cutlet on my comforter in my hotel and it's going to smell like shit in there. Like, I get that. That part of it's fine. But to then just gang up on her, it just seemed like they were all glaring at her.
It's
Like,
just mean girl shit.
like, go to bed. Like, you know what? It's not worth it. But she's drunk and she just keeps going. And does she say something very mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't need to say that. She could have just
No.
been like, I don't know why you guys are picking on me and walk away. And then everybody would have been like, you know what? That's kind of fair. I get that.
But
Go to your nightlight room, which by the way, when she busted that fucking thing out,
yeah.
did you not have the same thought that I did? That her and Tom absolutely like take Molly and lay down and just watch the stars together.
Oh no, you know what I thought?
What?
Oh, cool laser tag.
I was like, these two are definitely like, tripping balls, just laying down, like, look at these stars, man. And then they put their lightning bolt
Yeah,
necklaces
touch my
together.
lightning bolt.
Yeah, that was my first thought, and I'm like, this is kind of weird, but
That would have been a much smarter thought on my
she
end.
was at least having fun. Like, this is the whole thing is they're mad and they're butthurt about the fact that, oh, this is supposed to be Katie's divorce party. First off, if you're in like a terrible abusive relationship and you get a divorce, you need to go like celebrate that divorce. Go do that. This isn't one of those moments. This shouldn't be a divorce celebration. Katie's still like sad about it all.
I don't
It
think.
should be, and I don't think Katie phrased it that way. I
No,
think
she
this is all
didn't.
Lauren from Salt Lake City, from Utah.
Oh,
She is fucking
wow.
Lauren now. After this episode, she's
That's fair.
absolutely Lauren.
That's fair.
But she was the one who orchestrated this whole thing. And you get Christina, who's just going to say whatever the fuck she wants, as long as Katie says it's okay. But to sit there and be like, yo, this is a whole celebration. Like, no, we're kind of sad. This is more so just to get away from LA, get away from Schwartz, get away from it all, and hang out with your friends who support you. That's what it is. It's not a celebration of any kind. So I feel like that's just kind of in poor taste. And look, Rachel just shouldn't have gone at the end of the day.
No, but that was, I think, my biggest problem. And yeah, with Christina Kelly, she needs to kick rocks and get the fuck out of here immediately. She just sits there and like puts little words in everyone's ear, and she's like such a yes person, and like
Yeah.
I need her to go because she is aggravating as shit. Here's my thing with like the Rachel of it all. If you invite her on the trip, and Dev did point out like maybe production pushed it, and that's a different story, but you were cool with it 3 days prior when you're talking on the top of that mountain, you went hiking or whatever. You're cool. You want her to be on the trip. You want to pursue that relationship, give her some grace, whatever. Those are your words. That's what you want to do. If that's the case, then you cannot then jump in on this mean girl train and like start dragging her down when she's on your trip.
Yeah.
Like that's when I was confused. I was like, okay, well, was this just so you could get her like cornered so you guys could team up on her because you're mad at her? Which is, a whole different story, but it was just confusing to me. And then to watch her like sit there at the door and listen to them talk shit about her, I was like, God damn. And then Lala like gets on her fucking tough guy train again, like, yo, she's lucky that she left the room because Lala, like I would have buried her, blah, 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 because she always talks shit after the fact.
Always.
After the fact. Like at the table, you need to disengage, bitch. Who disengages and gets up and walks away? Lala. Not Rachel. Lala gets up and disengages. So like all bark, no bite, whatever. We're putting it all out there now. Like we'll probably hear about this later, but fuck it.
Yeah.
But then we go to the morning after, and again, like the phrases being used are just funny to me now. Like after the fact, the dust is settled, and Lala's like, I'm appalled. I'm appalled by what she said. Do we fucking live in the biggest glass house on earth? Do we forget all of the fucked up things that all of you have done? All of you. The only one, once again, is Katie. Really hasn't done that much fucked up stuff. She's kind of mean sometimes and not the most fun to watch sometimes, but credit to her, she's not an asshole. The only other one is Ariana is not an asshole. Everybody else is a dick. Lala, you fucked Rachel's dude 5 years ago and didn't tell her until a month ago. That's fucked up. They were going to get married. That's massive. That is not something you can just throw out there randomly like, oh, by the way, haha, and brush it off because it's not fitting your narrative to not talk about it.
When they're sitting at that dinner and she's like, get over it. It was 6 years ago.
Get over it.
You just told her a month ago. She's only known about this for a month.
And
she's been sitting on it for not very long. And you're going to be like, get over it. It was 6 years ago. Like, why are we talking about it? It is the same thing.
It's exactly the same thing, and it cracks me up when Rachel tries to use her evidence. Like, this is what I know. This is what was said. Lala's like, you can't say that. You can't use that. Like that 5 years ago, blah, blah, blah. But you will dig up or say anything about anybody else just to prove your point. But if it's Rachel trying to do it to you, by the way, she's not wrong. She's not wrong, Lala.
That's the thing, yeah.
Like you were hooking up with a married man, period. So for you to now get on your high horse, this is what cracks me up about Bravo overall. If you're doing stupid shit, if you're being shady, if you're cheating, if you're robbing people, don't fucking speak up about other people doing the same goddamn thing. It makes no fucking sense. It's illogical. It's irrational. And I sit here and I watch these goddamn TV shows. They're taking years off my life. I don't know which way is up anymore. I just want to go on a fucking vacation.
No, I mean, it's just really tough because obviously we know what happens. But in this moment, if we knew none of that and nothing was going on, I think 98% of the world is Team Rachel at this point.
They would be. And
Like, that was tough to watch, aside from the comment that she made while she was drunk and sitting in the bed.
And trying to hook up with Schwartz.
And trying to hook up with Schwartz. Well, that wasn't even this episode, but I'm just talking about just this episode. The rest of it was tough to watch. And Rachel came back at Lala with nothing but facts. Everything that she said was true.
Yes.
Everything Lala said was hypocritical.
100%.
So it's tough to be like, I don't know. Like, Katie sat there. This is supposed to be Katie's party. And Katie really wasn't taking teams. You just had Christina Kelly jumping in. Shut up, Christina. Just jumping in and saying absolutely nothing. This is between Lala and Rachel. Rachel won. And Lala looks really bad from this perspective. But everybody's going to come back tomorrow and do the Monday morning quarterback thing and be like, well, we know what Rachel and Sandoval have been doing for 7 months, so she's the worst person. But in this moment, Lala is entirely wrong.
In this moment, in this time,
yes,
where we're at on the timeline.
Yeah, we need to always just continuously say, in this moment, completely unbiased, Rachel over Lala.
Yes, right now.
Right now. Yeah.
Don't cut this and make it look
there
weird.
was one thing when Rachel was saying bye and her and Charlie were packing up. Did you notice that it looked like Rachel kind of had a little bit of a black eye?
Yeah. When she walked outside
weird?
to talk to them. But that's what people were saying. If you watch Rachel's face,
yeah,
like in previous pictures, like she always has like a shadow. That's what people were saying. So like the black eye thing, that's why it got debunked.
So that's pretty brutal if she just like leaned into that and she's like, this is...
Look,
I don't think she ever came out and said I had a black eye, but I think that she used that.
No, she showed a picture. There's pictures all over Instagram.
Yeah, but they were, and we know now that picture was taken before anything even happened.
Like,
so
here's the thing. Like, we're not condoning Rachel. We're not sitting here like standing by her. We're not promoting her.
Yeah.
We're saying in the timeline, she is in the right now.
We're also not congratulating Lala for being correct about something that came out months later. You were
Also
a shitty person now that doesn't explain your shitty behavior.
No, nobody.
Because something happened months later that you didn't know about in that moment.
Nobody on this show changes ever. No. They don't look in the mirror. Look in the fucking mirror. Let's move on. We got to move on. TomTom. We're at TomTom and the Toms are at TomTom. Okay? Whew, I'm frazzled. But we do get to see, bam, right on the center of the chest, the lightning bolt necklace when he walks in. Now, and I know you noticed because you were here watching my rant and I pointed and said, did you notice when he was with Ariana later and they went for the tasting, not wearing the lightning bolt necklace?
Yeah, but he also wasn't wearing it at the end of the episode.
I'm not saying.
I know, it was interesting, yeah.
You know, I'm trying to look at all the clues.
There's clues everywhere.
There's clues everywhere, but they're discussing whether or not they want to take the buyout to get out of TomTom.
Yeah.
But when they break it down, I think that'd be the dumbest move ever because Schwartz and Sandy's, especially now, given everything that we know, if Schwartz and Sandy's goes under, they would literally have nothing.
Yes.
So which way would you go?
No, I mean, they just need to figure out a way to open at this point. They need to find a way to skirt around Greg because Greg has no skin in the game, as we've said before.
Scumbag.
Just open the dam. And eventually they do. And look, if you do like a sort of open thing where you're only open from like Wednesday to Sunday and you still have brunch, like money's coming in.
Something's coming in.
At this moment, nothing's coming in. You're just sitting there and having these parties and doing taste tests and trying out new servers. It's all for nothing.
How are you doing a taste test a year into a restaurant venture?
It's crazy.
It doesn't make any
sense. Like, you
sense.
have a brand new kitchen back there and you're like, here, let's go do the taste test there. Like, no, why don't you just do that leading up to it while everything's being built and put together and everything so that you can maximize the time? Oh, no, they can't do that because Sandoval wasn't there. He was off playing his fucking band that nobody really cares about.
Around that
band.
Oh, dude, they blocked us on Instagram.
Really?
I swear to God.
Aw, man. They didn't block my personal account, so I can still go listen to shitty music whenever I want.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just, I wouldn't take my investment out of that. And I know that LVP and Ken are just trying to give them a little bit of a lifeline, just being like, look, like, we feel for you. We can't just push Greg out, but we can at least offer you this so that you guys can stay afloat for a little bit and then you can buy back in within a year. Maybe, but the way things have been going, they might not be fully open and they might not have that money back within that year.
No,
leave your investment over there because if this all falls apart, you're going to need that over there. not, the 50 grand that you put in 6, 7 years ago.
And things are looking pretty grim right
Yeah.
now. So good thing maybe, I don't even know if they stuck it out with TomTom. I guess we'll find out.
I think
But
they did.
let's get back to the main point here. Now we're at the Havasu dinner. I just thought it was super interesting. Like, they immediately start going in on Rachel again about her drinking because she got lit, like, at a club on a girls' trip.
She's like 26 or whatever, like
She's
27.
younger. Like, this is very normal. You guys were all
she also
doing.
just had a panic attack, which, by the way, let's talk about the panic
Oh,
attack.
yeah, the panic attack.
She's just been harboring all of this guilt probably for the Sandoval thing. And this is assuming that she has feelings towards that. She could be a show. But it seems like a genuine thing. Like, she feels trapped on this vacation, this girl's vacation, that she was supposed to have fun and she's not having any fun. And she's just being grilled by these other
Yeah.
women. And also, she's harboring all of that guilt from cheating with a guy who's in a committed relationship for 7 months behind a very nice woman's back. Like, that's tough.
And if that's the case and you are feeling that guilt and had the panic attack, then good. You deserve the panic attack.
Yeah, exactly. But to then immediately watch and not know any of that, to watch this girl go through a panic attack on the way here,
Console her
console her, and then go right back after her that
about
night.
the stuff that you said it was okay.
It's
You
crazy.
like you literally
it's
said in the
just so
car,
bad.
it's over. Oliver thing is squashed. Don't worry about it. We're good, girl.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the
And
girls
how did
trip.
it start? Because I guess they were filling in Charlie and they just like brought up all these new emotions, but they were being
Charlie wasn't
such-
even there
Charlie was at the dinner.
at the dinner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
That
at the
they were
dinner now?
filling in Charlie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were still at the car. We're doing the panic attack. That was
No,
at the
I went
car.
back to the panic attack to bring this up.
Okay, cool.
But we're sitting at this dinner, and I guess Charlie's there, so they're trying to fill her in, whatever. But they're being dicks about it.
Yep.
They're not just like, oh, yeah, we had a good time. Raquel had a very good time. She hooked up with Oliver.
Again, from the
Boom.
lens that we don't know about Sandoval.
Yeah. And that could have been fine. And then Charlie would have been like, oh, nice. That's awesome. Great. Could have moved on. No. Lala, Katie, and Christina are just being complete assholes about it, making snide remarks. And Raquel's like, what the fuck? Like, are we doing this? So then they get back into it, and it's just an absolute nightmare.
But I'm so glad that Raquel spoke up in that moment and went back after Lala. And I wish so much, for so many reasons that are much more important than this stupid show, that she hadn't cheated or
Helped,
that helped,
abetted.
aided and abetted a affair.
Yeah.
Okay, aided and abetted an affair. I wish she hadn't done that, because this could have been a really great moment for Rachel to be like, wow, she's finding herself. Great.
Mm-hmm.
She stood up for herself. Fuck you, Lauren. Like, that would have been a cool moment. But instead, it's like, yeah, nice. You still suck, though.
I like that she even prefaced it by saying, I need to stick up for myself.
Yeah. and
I
then
need
she
to
did
speak
it.
up for myself more. And then she did it.
Yeah, no, I appreciated the
Instead
moment.
of just like the empty words of like, I need to speak up for myself more. Nothing.
Yeah, and then what does Lauren do? Up from the table.
Mm-hmm.
You need to disengage, bitch. She disengages and walks away. Again, you lost.
Well, thankfully, at least Charlie was there to diffuse the situation.
Charlie was great. I'm
Yeah.
turning into a big Charlie fan. Like, I'm glad that when she gets there, she sees it from like the lens that we're looking at it as. Like,
Yeah.
all right, this
This is
isn't
kinda
that
sad.
big of a deal. Like, if this is about the Schwartz stuff, okay, like that makes more sense, but bring that up. And then again, Katie's the only one with a leg to stand on. She at the end goes, I could set you on fire right now,
Right.
which I thought was a little extreme, but also not. Like, I think watching it more and more, like seeing the dinner with her mom, like her talking about on the car ride there, like, we had family parties and holidays for like 10 plus years. I was like, yeah, that's really, really messed up that Rachel would ever ask Schwartz to make out.
Right.
Like, then
But that's also what I'm talking about, this whole celebration thing.
yeah.
It's not a
But
celebration.
she didn't frame it that way. The other women framed it
I
that
know.
way.
That's what's fucked up about it.
But but thanks. I mean, I'm just glad that Charlie was there, because it gave me some support through this whole thing. But the craziest thing is, like, the next day when they're talking about it, Lala goes, this was supposed to be about Katie, and we've spent 2 nights of like making it about Rachel. And it's like, you did that.
Yeah.
You started this shit. You kept talking about it. You couldn't leave well enough alone. You had to do some mean girl shit and team up with your 2 homies and like talk shit about Rachel.
Mhm.
You made the nights about that. Like, she wasn't going to bring it up. She was just trying to go to dinner. You're the one that took it upon yourself to force the issue. And here we are. And now you have the the fucking saddest party I've ever seen. Everything they're doing together is a bummer.
Yeah, no, that was so funny when they go out to the lake
Oh
and
my
they're like, "There's
God.
some hot dudes around here," and they pan back,
Those guys?
and they're just like some fucking
Dudes. They're
weird
just
dudes.
guys.
Honestly, yeah, they're just guys.
There's guys and
They're
they're like,
just
you know what?
lake guys.
They probably work like shitty jobs, and
Yep.
they were so stoked to go to Havasu boys weekend, dude. And then they get on the boat, and one of the most attractive women they've ever seen in person walks up on the boat next to them. Not only that, engages with them, and they're like, guys, we fucking nailed
This
it.
is the best weekend ever.
I told you, dude, Havasu never fails, man.
One guy just like, did he just fall again?
Yeah. But like, it's just a bum. You know what it looked like when they panned out like the drone footage of them doing like donuts on the jet
Mhm.
skis? It's like if wealthy high school kids wanted to make a music video, like that Rebecca Black video, where like
Friday.
yeah. But if you watch the video, it's like the mom clearly hired some shitty production company
Oh,
to shoot
well,
an
yeah.
actual video. That's what it looked like.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that it was definitely super duper sad. And honestly, when they left Vegas, I was like, wait, they're leaving after one night? Oh, they're going to a different place. Okay. And they kept talking about like, well, let's hook up with these guys. Let's talk about some guys. And they go, and the first guys they see are like, I have the old guy in the
in the
lake,
water
and he just raises
with
his
a
beer
Coors
like,
Light.
hell yeah, I'm
Hell
here.
yes. Like, it was
Oh,
almost like a
God.
movie scene. Like, this is what they've gotten to. But that night, they go to BJ's. The other group goes out. They're doing the dudes' night out.
Mm,
And BJ's is my kind of bar. That's where I would go. They're like country music, cowboy hats, Coors Light. Like,
Coors Light and whiskey.
that's all I need. Jack Daniels and Coors Light. Not anymore, but back in the day, hell yeah. But I think that if you look at the two parties, the dudes win. That was a much more fun time.
hmm
But I have to point it out. You actually pointed it out to me. I'm going to bring it up again, and then we're going to wrap this whole thing up. Who pointed out that Rachel and Charlie bounced from Havasu?
Sandoval.
Was the first one to say anything about it, and we're looking for
All we
clues.
heard, I think it was Scheana that said, "Oh yeah, two of the girls, not descriptive.
Nope.
Two of the girls left."
Mhm.
And Sandoval chimes in, "Oh yeah. Rachel. Well, I guess he said Raquel. Raquel and Charlie had left." I'm like, how do you know that?
Yeah, why are you the
What do you
first to
mean by that?
know?
Yeah.
Who texted you, Charlie? Nope.
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 Absolutely not.
Rachel sent
So-
a selfie in the car. You could see her doing but she did like a little tilt away. I was like, oh, I bet that's the Sandy.
Yep.
I bet she's like Snapchatting Sandy right now, bro.
Absolutely.
Look, overall, it was a lot for me to watch because I do feel a certain way about Rachel and Sandoval, obviously. Like the whole world's mad at her. But I'm not going to sit here and pile on to this big pile of shit she's got for an episode that she didn't seem to be doing anything wrong. If you want to use the Schwartz thing, okay. But if
Yeah.
you're looking at the Schwartz thing without the Sandoval part, that is not the most fucked up thing that has happened in this group by any stretch. And for the people that are coming at her to be coming at her like that, makes no fucking sense. Christina Kelly, you're irrelevant.
Mhm.
Get out of here. Lala, your track record sucks. Shut up. Katie, if you want to say something, you can, but you invited her.
Yeah. No, the
So,
whole
I don't
thing,
know.
I was kind of annoyed at the whole thing because the preamble was Andy and LVP tweeting out, "You're going to want to check in this week for VPR. It's great. It's completely unedited. You're going to be so shocked at what you
It
see."
was the most edited shit I've ever seen.
And I'm
first.
like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to get so many clues.
Sandoval
about
and
Sandoval
yeah,
and Rachel.
same. It went the complete.
Instead, it was just we're supposed to congratulate these women because they started talking about Rachel with other people's boyfriends months before when it was clearly going on. Like, what do you want me to fucking like give them a round of applause? No, they were being dicks.
They were being dicks before we knew.
And now what? They're soothsayers. Ides March.
Wow.
Tie it back.
Whoa, give me some.
Yeah. Hell
That
yeah.
was good.
Yeah.
But we're back with Jersey, and so far I've thoroughly enjoyed the season. I actually like that we do our little recaps with Zach every week now because it hardwires the show into my head
Yeah.
because it's hard to keep track of all this stuff. I've got like 16
Good
journals
point.
littered around my house, but
Because you throw them everywhere when you get mad.
I only threw this one, and you can attest to it. It's like the size of an
Yeah,
iPhone.
it is really
It's
small.
little. It's my little guy.
Little black book.
No, it's just a little notebook. But we start out with like a Dolores and Frank check-in, and I think a lot of this episode has to do with that. That's a big part of it.
Mhm.
Then like obviously Jen and Bill Aiden, but let's just tie all of the Dolores and Frank stuff together in one.
Sure.
All right.
Sounds fun.
So we know Paul. Let's give a quick, prayers up for Paul. He had to go in for heart surgery. He came out okay,
T's and P's.
as we know, but T's and P's for your previous T and P worthy event.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Sure. But Dolores and Frank. So again, Frank's really struggling with this whole transition. And Dolores talked to her dad. I think we got that like walk where they go take the dog out. She was a rock for 20 plus years for a guy that she was in a not great marriage with. Like every time she talks
loved those
about
pictures though.
Oh, they were so good.
Oh my God.
They were so
Frank
good.
with the mustache and glasses.
He needs to
so
bring it
funny.
back. Bring back the stash.
Absolutely.
Join Shooter on the stash train.
Yeah.
But it's such a fair point. And like I think we both kind of shifted on this whole thing. Like I think early on we were both kind of like, come on.
Yeah, we're
it's
ever
Frank.
shifting on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's like, she really grinded this shit out for 20 years in a very unorthodox relationship with which 100% affected her relationships with men. There's no way it couldn't have if you got your ex-husband in the picture like that. I think it was amazing that they were able to do that and be there for their children and have this amicable relationship for so long, but it's not normal. It's not functional, especially if she wants to move on with her life. And I think that he needs to just like see that side of it.
He definitely does. I mean, we've talked about it, and I'm actually going to bring in a bit of a bonus thorn here because I just remembered one review.
A Bourne?
A Bourne, yeah.
A Jason Bourne.
Somebody left us a review and said, it's good, but, and I'm going to paraphrase, let's just hope that they don't do to Tree what they did to Kyle in Beverly Hills, where they started off really liking her and then completely flipped and made a left turn by the end.
Somebody said that?
Somebody said that.
Oh my God, I'm glad I didn't see that. That would have set me in a tizzy.
Yeah, no, an absolute tizzy. I didn't want to like break your psyche anymore after watching you jump up and down during Vanderpump. But no, this is what we do. We talk about things. We change our fucking minds. We go through it, especially with somebody like Frank, who we both really like. And I feel like the majority of people like Frank.
Yeah, he's a well-liked character on the show.
And it makes sense that, one, he's going to have a hard time getting used to a new life with his ex-wife. Even though he has a girlfriend and he seems to be happy over there, he's having a hard time because it feels like he's being shut out. And whatever, I get it. For him to sit there and be like, I miss my relationship with Dolores is weird. It's wrong.
It's wrong because it puts pressure on her to kind of like fall back into it, and like she shouldn't have to. She did it.
The children are grown up. Like
they're older.
You are together in an amicable, broken relationship, divorced relationship, whatever you want to say, because of your children. Your children are now grown up. You can go hang out with them whenever the fuck you want. Invite them over to your place. Go do whatever you want. Go meet up with them. You really don't need Dolores in the picture all the time. I'm not saying that you don't want like some of it because she's still the mother of your children. That's great. You want to have, events together, birthdays, whatever. That's still going to happen. But you're not going to be able to just pop in on a Thursday night for fucking pizza night and be like, hey, dad's home. Like, no.
But
that's not going to work.
It's not going to work. And I agree with you 100%. The thing is, Frank, again, Dolores was the rock, not just for the kids. Dolores was Frank's rock. Frank,
he has a girlfriend.
I agree, dude, but clearly this is a case if he wants his cake and to eat it too.
Yes.
And like
nobody's allowed to have their cake and eat it too.
No, it's a physical impossibility. Yeah. But I don't think it's coming from a place of malintent. I don't think he's trying to be malicious with it. I think it's just all he knows. And he's like, what do I do? Like, I need
That's
Dolores.
Fair. I understand that, but it's wrong.
It is. He needs to understand like her feelings on the matter and be comfortable with just being like, this is going to be really difficult, but maybe it's time for both of us to move on. We're still going to see each other, have a relationship, but it's not going to be the same because Paul's here.
Yeah.
And Paul seems like a good dude.
Yeah. And I don't need them all to sit down too and have Paul walk it through. Just maybe one conversation, which we've probably already gotten and maybe we didn't see it on film or whatever. But Dolores and Frank, if Frank still feels that way, and now after the softball game, watching him like break down about the whole thing,
it was sad.
Yeah, it's sad, but again, it's wrong.
I know.
It's not fucking right. I know you have to remove the feelings of loving Frank because he is a good dude, but he wasn't a good husband to her forever.
But he knows that. And he said, like,
exactly,
but it makes me sadder because he's like, it's my biggest regret in my life. And I'm like, oh, and he's like really losing her now. That sucks, but it's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It's completely wrong. They just need to hash it out, or he just needs to just man up. Still, obviously, talk. You know what? Talk to your children about it. Don't talk to other people about it. Don't cry about it to other people and just say, I wish that it was the way it was. Go talk to your children
Go
about
talk
it
to
because
Frank Jr. because he's
Frank
smarter
Jr. is
you.
smart as shit.
And he's you, but smarter.
Yes. And he will sit you down and say, look, like mom's having a great time with Paulie right now. She's feeling like she's having a good life with him and maybe it'll continue. And hopefully it continues because it makes her happy.
What a weird way to explain a good relationship, by the way.
You gotta let her, yeah, right? You gotta let her go. And obviously, you're still gonna be in the picture because you're the father of her children. She's the mother of your children. It'll always work out in the end. Go focus on your own relationship.
I agree. I agree. It does take the emotion out of it. That's what we do here. Emotionless.
Yeah, you have a really
Emotional.
hard time being emotionless.
I'm an emotional guy.
Yeah, I know.
We get a conversation between Fessler and Marge Jr. And I love Jen Fessler as the friend of. We talked about with Zach today.
Mhm.
She's the ideal, perfect friend of. She should never change. She should never shoot for more. Just stay where you're at because that's your role. That's your niche. And what I loved about this scene, this was as though one of us or any of like the rational watchers of the show was trying to talk to Marge and like talk some sense into
Yeah.
her. It's like, what are you doing? You look like an idiot. You're not looking good here, just trying to prove your point by screaming over. You sound
Mhm.
like a 16-year-old pissed off teenager. Like, knock it off.
Yeah, no, we talked about it. It was with Zach. We were saying it's like a sweepstakes. Like a random fan just gets to be put in.
Yeah.
We think about ourselves in these random Bravo shows. Like, I'd be great in that. Here's what happens.
Yes.
You're thinking rationally. You're thinking logically, and they're friends. That's the best part.
I know.
Is Jen even says and completely like doesn't lose her cool. She says, I don't really care about Jen Aiden. I really don't. I care about you. And I watched you lose your cool the other day and I didn't like it. So let's try to fix that. And Marge is having none of it.
She goes, now I'm going to say what I'm going
Yeah.
to say.
Absolutely none of it.
Like a
It's like,
5-year-old.
you've been
No.
friends with her for how long? Like, is this, it really had me questioning though, like, is this how Marge actually is? Or is this how Marge is on the show with those people? Because off screen, I can't imagine that Marge is hanging out with Jen Aiden ever.
No.
In those down months when they're not filming, not a chance in hell that they see
If
each
they
other.
do, it's very
ever.
hypocritical.
Yes. So this could just be how Marge feels about her castmates. And maybe she has a secret life of Marge Jr. And I'd like to watch that show.
Oh, that's
Secret Life of Marge Jr.
Oh no, they call her Margaret.
I don't give a shit.
Margaret's out.
I
Trying
get
to
where you're
play
getting
into
at.
the
Oh,
bit. All right,
They do actually call her Margaret,
I'll
though.
just stay out of the bit, dude. My bad. Your thing. As we know, it is the eve of the softball event.
Mhm.
So we get the Fudas with the Gorgas. They're at the batting cage working on whatever the hell they were working on. The only one that made contact, I think, was Joe, and he needs to follow through. He's cutting his follow through off.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
so
not good.
short.
He needs to stay through the ball. Come on, Joey. But in this scene, we get Melissa talking about Louie and how she thinks that he's manipulative. We talked about this today on the live.
Mhm.
Do you think that Louie is manipulating?
No, I decided to make an important distinction between controlling and manipulative. Manipulative has a very negative connotation. If somebody says, oh, you're manipulating everybody, you're manipulating a situation, that means you're doing something for your own good and you're not really thinking about anybody else and you're being selfish and you're trying to change the way that people think or what they do. I don't think that's what Louie's doing. I think what he's doing is more towards controlling, meaning he's controlling what he can control, being Teresa and her emotions, trying to keep her in check. Maybe not as far as like the narrative, but I think that he's just trying to make everybody happy. I'm thinking he's trying to get Teresa and Joe in a room together to hash it out because he wants a big happy family. He's trying to get Teresa to not lash out at everybody because it doesn't really help if you lash out at your friends. You want to keep them in your corner, whatever. I don't really think that anything he's doing is malicious. Some people are out here saying that he's being manipulative and this is how like his past relationships have gone and whatever. You don't fucking know that. Like, let's be honest. These people who are talking about this have no idea what Louie's relationship was with his ex or exes before then. You're not Marge. You're not digging up anything. So let's just give them a chance and just see what happens. And maybe it'll be good for everybody. It just seems more like Melissa and Joe don't want it to be good because it's
Yeah.
not good for the show and that's not going to get them a paycheck.
Yeah, no, that's what it seems like. And people are going to say that you're a tree stan and a fucking Louis stan.
shit.
We're not. We're not. Zach put it really well today. We're fans of the show. We want the show to do well. We want to see some kind of peace or something break one way or the other.
Mhm.
The problem is with, Louis allegedly being manipulative. and I've talked about it multiple times. I'm not going to dive that far into it, but like we need to give them the opportunity to either prove us wrong or prove us right.
Yeah.
But trying to throw out accusations because you read a page 6 article that came out 2 months ago about what Louie was doing, what Teresa was doing, what their implications are with all of this, you don't really know. So we know Louie has a past. We know Teresa has a past. Like those are facts. That we can't just like gloss over that. Which means we need to keep a watchful eye, be cautiously optimistic or skeptical or whatever word you want to use. But you can't just throw it out the window that they're 100% full of shit. We don't know. Let's just let this shit play out. And let me tell you right now, if it turns out that they suck and this is all a ruse, I will be the first one. I will go on Instagram Live the minute it happened and say, hey, they didn't change. I was wrong. So what?
Yeah, the only thing that I keep coming back to is, and I think I'm giving everybody way too much credit with this, but this is how my brain works when I watch these shows. There could be a grand master scheme going on here where Teresa and Louie are really in the back pulling the strings on everybody. And the reason that Jen is going apeshit on Marge and going all after Dolores and so on and so forth, and all the things that are going on with Joe and Melissa, and Joe and Melissa are just trying to whistleblow. Like, no, I knew this is what Teresa was going to do. They just can't figure out how to outsmart her. Maybe there's a huge master scheme going on here, but it's highly
But
unlikely.
you could say
I
the
think-
same about Joe and Melissa.
Yeah, but they're so bad at it. I can see Teresa and Louie being good at this and Joe and Melissa being terrible at it.
Maybe.
And I think that's really what's going on is I think that you've got two people here trying to control the situation, control the narrative. Louie's just trying to make everybody okay, or at the very least, make sure that him and Teresa look good.
Yeah,
Joe and Melissa are floundering.
they are.
Just grasping at straws. They're running away from situations. They're looking for any little piece of dirt that they can dig up to try to prove that Teresa's not this changed person and that she is going to lash out at any given moment. But when you sit down in a confessional, Josephina, and you're sitting there talking about,
Nice.
talking about how I don't trust it, like Teresa could just pop off at any given moment. She hasn't in the last 6 months to a year, as
At
long as
least
she's
when
been
we've
with
been
Louie
watching this
almost, like
show.
pretty much since Nashville. Like we haven't seen her completely pop off.
Mm-mm.
So give her a little bit benefit of the doubt. He's sitting there like she's gonna pop off and then runs away from the situation. Like, but she isn't.
Only to rejoin a very nice family moment between the Gorgas
Yeah.
and the Judice/Louis family. Like we saw
I'm
them all look at the
skeptical about that,
calendar.
yeah.
And yeah, that could have been production. It could have been
Yeah.
a plan. It could have been a lot of things, sure. But again, we're taking it at face value what we're seeing on the screen. I'm just saying for you to run off like, oh, this is ridiculous. I don't want her to snap. And then you're like cool with walking back in. It was stupid. It was a
Yeah, and you
worthless
give
scene.
Louie a big hug and talk about the calendar and
Yeah. And anyway, we get to the softball game. I got to point out, I love pointing it out. I played in that stadium. I coached in that stadium. Brooklyn Cyclones. I watched Pete Alonso hit home runs off of that roller coaster in left field
That's pretty sweet.
nonstop during batting practice. Like I thought he was going to hit one of the people riding.
Dude seems like a loser though.
he's
Really
very
a really nice guy.
he's really nice.
Yeah.
He's very kind of like soft spoken, low key vanilla.
Okay.
But nice guy. Very nice guy. Great hitter.
Yeah.
Um,
You and I need to get into that game somehow. I'll just play for the doctors, honestly.
that is what I was gonna get to. Good. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, there you go.
We want to play in the softball
Mhm.
game. All right. We are both former baseball players. We both love the game.
Yep.
We want to go. I want to go
I
hit a
think it's
home run.
fixed. I think it's fixed.
It's like a Harlem Globetrotter situation, right? Yeah,
Like,
that's what I thought.
2 years in a row, they came back and won. Like, it
And
just
by the way,
doesn't
if you
seem-
watch those doctors, were they doctors?
they were supposedly doctors.
Whatever the team they were playing against, those dudes could play a little bit. They were swinging, they were hitting the shit out of the ball. Like I just don't see how those two teams line up
I
unless
think,
there's
like,
a
after
lot
the
more.
third inning, they switched sides and they started hitting from the opposite side of the plate or something.
I don't know what happened, but yeah, I think it's a Harlem Globetrotter situation. But the last thing I want to touch on is Jen and Bill. They go to couples therapy. Could Bill Aiden be more checked out of this marriage?
Ew.
Like this
That
was
was tough.
atrocious. Like she's trying, for better or worse, she's trying. But all you get from Bill, you literally get silence. The dude doesn't want to be there.
He was smirking too at certain situations.
know.
Like Jen's going off about her feelings and talking about how he doesn't even come in after a long day to say hi. He just goes straight to the pool.
For 3 hours.
Yeah, straight to the
Full house.
pool house. I wanted to call it a pool room. Goes straight to the pool house. Comes back in after dinner when everything's already cleaned up. Like, all right, I get it. Like if you're in that situation, and you said it best earlier, like he wants a 1950s traditional marriage
Yes.
where he works, he comes home, and everything's done for him. If that's what you want, you can at least check in and say hi and eat fucking dinner with your family.
You're not being a husband or a father.
You're being an asshole.
You're being an asshole and you're being neglectful. Like
Yeah.
all she wants, Bill, is her husband and time with you. Is
Yeah.
that so crazy that your fucking wife forever, just wants to see you? Just wants you to sit down and have dinner with your children instead of you going to do plastic surgeries for 16 hours, come home and sit in the pool house? It's not like he's coming home and like, oh, I'm gassed, I need to go to bed.
Yeah.
He's coming home and going out to hang out in his pool house, probably staring at his Ferrari and jerking off instead of going into the house and like tending to his family.
No, I
Like,
think
it's
that he was like,
inexcusable.
during that therapy session, which was incredibly hard to watch, the only real thing that he went in depth with was talking about his job.
Yeah.
He was like, I have so much on my plate. I work so hard. I provide whatever. I just want to come home and relax. Okay, that's fine. The therapist did not bite on that.
Ooh,
Not at all. And he checked out the rest of the time.
he did. He
But-
literally did.
I wouldn't, like, if he just didn't say a word the rest of the time and it looked like he was reflecting on it and thinking on it, that's one thing. He sat there with a smirk on his face while Jem was like bursting out in tears, essentially, talking about how broken their marriage is and the fact that you cheated on her and had a whole affair.
And now your
that
daughter
now
wants
your
to be a love
kids-
therapist.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy that you're not sitting there. You're a smart guy. Clearly, you're a fucking surgeon. How are you not sitting there with any compassion at all? I think that you hit the nail on the head with the 1950s traditional marriage. And I also think that, like, he's a surgeon. He's got, like, this God complex bullshit like Lenny has in Miami, where he just doesn't give a shit. Like, I provide all of this for you. You shouldn't complain about a thing that I do.
He is the Lenny of New Jersey.
Yeah.
That's I'm stating that now.
As unfortunate as it is. And now we're going to lightly touch on Summer House. It was kind of a down episode. Kind of get to pick up right where we left off with the whole Amanda, Lindsey, Carl, Kyle bullshit that's going on here. And at the end of it all, it kind of seems like what we talked about last week. Danielle didn't really mean for it to be what it was. She was just giving an answer. Amanda even forgave her, essentially, and said, I know that you didn't mean anything malicious. And it really just comes down to Lindsey, Carl, and Kyle.
Kind of, but Danielle just needs to get the fuck out of everybody's business.
Yeah.
That's what and I agree with the night of. Yes, like yes, I do agree with you.
Yeah.
But after watching this episode, like, dude, get out of everyone else's shit. Like, please. I couldn't. It really. Oh, you're making faces. We might disagree here. I don't care for the fact that she feels the need to insert herself into all this drama. I don't understand the relationship with Carl and Lindsey. Like, she's all up in arms because they're now neglecting her. Like, they are in a relationship. But that being said, they don't need a third party. That's what happens.
I don't know if it's necessarily like a neglecting thing. I think that it's just weird for her. Like, the three of them were best friends. Carl is hooked up with both of them in the past, and now he's dating Lindsey, and now it's completely unbearable. Like, it's unbearable for us to watch on TV. I could only imagine how bad it is, like, up close and personal. Spending weekends in the Hamptons with them, I would blow my brains out.
Oh my God. It
Like-
would be the worst. Like, they're going to the bar and they're both just standing there, like, holding each other, like, I love you so much. How
That's the
much?
it's the
I love
public
you
shit.
so
Like,
many
I
oceans.
get it. Like, if you're in the confines of your own room, you want to do like cutesy weird shit. Like, yeah, is it cringy? Sure, but every relationship has cringy shit. But it's behind closed doors. There's no cameras in there. It's the public stuff. When you're sitting there with a bunch of people sitting around you and you're doing all that weird shit, nobody wants to see it, and it's annoying. And stop calling each other babe all the time.
Seriously. I
Like-
wish we had a babe count. I should have kept a clicker.
Bravo should have that.
They should have that.
They
If
absolutely
don't,
should just
they're
have it
missing
go out
the
through the
boat.
whole season.
Yeah, just put it in the lower right-hand corner of the screen and just every time say, tick.
And you know what's
Yeah.
going to happen? They'll watch it and then they'll stop calling each other babe probably because it's embarrassing.
I sure hope so.
God, it's embarrassing. But anyway, so we'll leave it at that. I still think that Amanda's a big crybaby. I think the whole thing could have blown over if she
The
didn't freak
night.
out.
Yeah, I'm talking about the day after.
Oh, the day after when they get up and Carl's like, I don't really understand like what to do. Like somebody who's been drinking all day, you know, the old Carl would have just like got up and fought him right then and there, but I'm not that Carl, so I'm not gonna like you could still stand up for your girlfriend even though you're sober. Like all you have to say in that moment, and I think Danielle said it, was just like, hey man, like chill the fuck out.
That's it.
Like that's it. And like, yeah, maybe Kyle blows up a little bit, but it's better than doing nothing. Just sitting
Yeah.
there doing nothing is bad. And look, do I think that maybe yeah, I don't really like that Kyle's like calling them all bitches and whatever, because again, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Amanda just started crying.
It became a
It's
big
just
deal
fucking
because
annoying.
Lindsay decided to jump in and say
Yeah.
why she had, like, Lindsay wasn't involved. Lindsay decided to take it upon herself to give examples of why she's untrustworthy. That's what blew it up.
Right, right. And that's kind of at the core of it all, but it is just weird that they the next morning just get up and they're like, well, let's just get out of here. Like we're out.
They
Like,
bounce, and like, here's my thing with the Carl, Lindsay, Kyle, all of that stuff. I understand that Carl is sober. I understand that he's dealing with a lot. He's going through a lot. He's trying to find himself. He's trying to fit into the sober thing. Not to like gloss over the fact that, sobriety is a journey. You change as you go through it. Like some days are easier than others, some months, some years
mhm.
are easier. Like it changes as you go. So, like, he's going through it. I'm not taking away from that. The way that Kyle goes about his business, how he speaks to him, it's not always great. He should check himself. He even says that, though. We do always give credit to Kyle for being self aware the day after.
The day
The day
that's the
after.
problem. Is
It
that
is.
night though, he's sitting there saying like I regret nothing.
Right.
Everything that I said was entirely valid. And then the next day he's like maybe I shouldn't have been so harsh.
But here's the difference, right? Between these two relationships. Amanda's sitting in bed with Kyle. Like, you need to control that. You got to stop doing that. You're
Mhm.
saying things that, like, you can't really take back, and, like, you put yourself in bad positions just because you feel that way. Like, you need to be able to pull it back, rein it in, checking him, putting him in check. Yo,
Yeah.
this is wrong. Like, I know you're standing up. Like, you felt a certain way. You can't keep doing that. It's a bad look. Flip to the other room. Lindsay just feeds into Carl. Like,
Yeah.
she just, like, whatever is wrong with other people, she feeds into that shit. She doesn't give productive, pragmatic answers. She says, they have it in for you. They don't like you. And, like, I can't imagine. I've kind of softened up on Carl a little bit. Like, he's going through a lot. Like, this is a ton of shit to deal with. I feel that. But I just don't feel like any of this is being addressed in a productive way from either side. And I don't think he's helping the situation. Like, by just bouncing the next day, you're just avoiding it.
Yeah, you're not growing. You're not trying to like figure out how you can go about it by having productive conversations because you get to see Kyle, like you said, sit there and have that remorse, have that regret the next day. That might be a really good time to talk to Kyle
Mhm.
to try to squash something. And hey, maybe bring Lindsay into it because I have seen Kyle and Carl talk multiple times. Nothing really gets accomplished. They squash it, so to speak, but nothing really happens. And then something pops off the next weekend. You, at this point, have known Lindsay, if you're Kyle, you're Amanda, whoever, for multiple years. You've spent a lot of time with her. They all just need to sit down and just talk about it. And at that moment, if Lindsay pops off and she's a huge bitch, then you have an issue.
Yeah.
If she says, look, I don't like the way that this is happening, you're able to have a productive conversation with both of them at the same time and talk maybe even about their relationship, like Danielle might end up doing by the end of the season. You might be able to get somewhere a little bit further and at least not have these awkward next mornings where you feel like you have to avoid each other. And then it goes by a whole other week. And then it really gets awkward the next weekend when you show back up. Like, who wants to spend an entire summer doing that? And I, for one, am very sad that Summer House has turned into this like bullshit emotional game with no partying at all.
The whole point was emotionless partying.
Yes,
Like, that was
that's
the
all
whole
we
gig.
want. Like, that's all we want. I don't really, we know everybody aside from Gabby, but Gabby won't shut the fuck up about her astrology shit.
Dude, oh my God. And this is why, okay, it's people like that that give the signs people a bad name. The
Yeah.
people that always say, like, what's your sign? Or like, I'm a Taurus or I'm an Aries or whatever the fuck you are. The people that take it to the umpteenth degree, where even the girls at the house are like, maybe your door's too shut. Maybe you shouldn't like axe people from your list because they were born in a certain month. And Sierra takes a quick jab. She's like, a lot of my closest friends are Tauruses. So I like
Yeah,
that. I like the
exactly.
drama there. Like that could be
That's
fun.
great. And Sierra's been awesome this year.
She's the MVP.
I'm a little hesitant to be like, I need to see more of Sierra because I feel like where she is right now is kind of like a sweet spot. But between like her and Maya, like there's a good dynamic going on there where even they're like, I don't really know what to think about Gabby. Like I can't quite get in there. I have no idea what she's all about. She seems like she's privileged and she's got a lot going on for her that she doesn't really know. Like when she's talking about setting up for the party and she's like, I usually would have just had somebody do this for me. It's like, fuck you. Like go out and do it.
Or just like hire somebody and don't say that.
Yeah, or that. Yeah, like, hey, I've got people coming over to the house to do that. And like let people make fun of you. If that's what you want to do and you just don't want to work, go ahead and do it. Like, is it really that much work to set those things up?
No.
Some of them are crazy. And it's usually like Kyle's party, Kyle's birthday, whatever. But most of them, there's like streamers and bullshit just sitting around. Who cares? It's not that hard to put it together. You didn't even think about the liquor or the beer or food. Like, what are these people going to be doing during this party? They're going to be starving and they're not going to have anything to drink either.
As of right now, you're throwing a let's stand in a house party.
Yeah, with a couple of disco balls and a hot tub.
Yeah.
But like nobody wants to see any of that. So that's kind of where the direction of this show is heading, is coming home at 11 o'clock at night from a bar that they're like, yeah, we're going to one of our favorite spots tonight. This is going to be so much fun. We have to go watch Lindsey and Carl make out for a little bit. And then a couple people dance. And then they're home at 11:40 and they're in bed by midnight. And then you know what? They're up at 7 a.m. to go to Barry's fucking boot camp. I don't want to watch that.
No.
I don't know how many times we have to say this. I do not want to watch that. And I know Steele's daughter's sleeping upstairs, so I'm quieting my voice because I was getting very loud. No one wants to watch that bullshit. Shut it off. Go fucking party. I don't care. These lame ducks, get them off the screen. Bring in new people and have people party. Leave Kyle there because Kyle still wants to party and he's fun. And summer should be fun.
Last but not least, this is a reunion episode. We are back in Miami.
We only have 2 more of those.
2 more of those. Did you hear it tonight?
What?
Did you hear it on the reunion?
No.
You didn't?
No.
When Marisol comes in, she hits the bam, 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 bam.
You know what? I think when I saw her and her stupid bedazzled horn, I think I threw up actually. So
well, let's dive into all this episode was screaming and Alexia being a dick. Like that's all I got to see. But we start out and I need to know, what the fuck? How do you take a $13 million house and turn it over in a year and a half for $44 million?
You know who bought it, right?
It was Elon Musk's or
No,
Bezos's mom. That's it. Yeah, thank you.
So one, they overpaid, I'm sure. And
It's just like, why would you do anything else? Flip houses.
yeah,
If you're gonna net
honestly.
30
Maybe that's what he
mil,
does. He could do that in his spare time. Who knows?
maybe
Just
I
has
don't
a
know.
knack for it. I don't. The way that Nicole was talking about it, she's like, Anthony is really business savvy. Like, fucking, you think?
Yeah, if he
$27 million profit?
yeah, that's
Sure.
pretty great. But we start going through. You know, they save. Everybody's got their own. I think Alexia called it a package. This package is for me.
Mm-hmm.
The first package that we get was Lisa's package, and they haven't seen a judge yet. They haven't gotten divorced yet officially. Lenny is still coming over to the house, which I think is weird. He's still
Yeah.
eating like her food, and we get a very big nugget that we didn't hear before. She caught these 2 in a hot tub like 2 years ago.
Yeah. A little too
So
close for comfort is what they said.
that immediately, I'm like, wait a minute. 2 years ago, you saw these 2 together in a hot tub. There's no scenario in which you find your spouse in a hot tub alone with somebody
20 years younger.
where that's
Yeah,
a good
model.
yeah, and it's a good situation.
Yeah.
And if you can rationalize that away, that means that you're in an emotionally abusive relationship and your husband is a huge piece of shit.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, he is.
Yeah, he is. And obviously, it's got to be tough for somebody like Lisa, where, like she said, like she came down, she moved to Miami for him. Her whole life has been him. Now she has kids with him. She lives in this great big house that looks like shit with him. And the writing is on the wall, and it seems like it's been there for a very long time. And she even said that he was taking jabs, and the way that he would like argue with her is to say, all right, well, we're just going to get a divorce. Like,
For 15 years, he threw that
15
around.
years. Like, that's crazy. And you know what? Maybe
That's
you become
psychological
immune-
warfare,
Yeah.
dude.
Maybe eventually you become immune to it and you just don't care what he says anymore. But the writing is on the wall there, and it's got to be tough because, let's be honest, like that is your livelihood. Like the life that you're used to is because of what Lenny is giving you. to think that that might not be there anymore, that's got to be scary. And who the fuck knows if there's any prenup situation at all in
I
this?
hope not. I hope she
Nobody's
takes half
talking
his
about it
shit.
yet. Yeah, that would be awesome if she just took half his shit. Like, the first thing I would do is just get rid of that damn house. Just, have Anthony come over, flip it, sell it for 20 mil
How are you
extra.
gonna flip a compound?
Wrecking ball and then
Wrecking ball in
build
a new house, and he'll net $24 million off of it.
God, that place is hideous. But yeah, I mean, aside from the Lisa stuff, it just gets messy.
It gets messy because of who? Marisol and
I
Alexia
didn't
start
really think
stirring
that
the
Marisol
pot.
did a lot.
Sorry. Larsa and Alexia.
Yes, Larsa.
Larsa is just
Annoying.
sticking her nose in every comment. She has a side comment. Shut up. We don't want to hear from you.
I think this is what I think happens. She obviously, the people on the show get to watch the show before we get to watch it. And I feel like she underperformed in the last couple of episodes. Like, she really wasn't there. Like, in the beginning of the season, she was inserted in Lisa's business. Then she was inserted in Nicole's business.
She did the
then
most.
She was all over the place. And then for whatever reason, the last like 4 or 5 episodes, it was all about Alexia and Marisol, Adriana, and then a little bit of Nicole and Gertie and whatever. Larsa kind of took a back seat. So I feel like she thinks that she needs to step up and get inserted a little bit more. And she wouldn't shut the fuck up. Like,
No, she wouldn't
I
stop.
don't care. Like, I don't want to hear your relationship with Michael Jordan's son. Like, it's creepy.
And for her to like chime in and go, like, it was so funny because you could see what she was doing. She's like, I don't understand like why the age thing is such a weird thing. And like,
Yeah, we know
for
what you're
you to
doing.
sit there and comment on how Nicole should be receiving her father and like her relationship with her dad, just accept him. You need to shut the fuck up. You have no idea what they've been through. You have no idea the dynamics, what he put her through over the years. Like, it is not up to her to just accept that her dad's an asshole. If she wants him to change or she wants him to say sorry.
Especially when she's talking about how it's going better.
Right.
Like, look, things are moving in the right direction. He feels remorseful. Did he ever say, I'm sorry? No. But they're like, oh, well, he was crying. I felt like that was better than him saying sorry. Like, fuck you. Who cares? You have no input on this.
Zero.
At all.
And
I'm just sharing with you what my father and I are going through, and it's getting better. This is not a point to try to push your whatever feelings
bullshit narrative
Nicole should be doing at this point.
Because he's an old school guy. That's like saying it's okay for old people to be racist because they grew up in a different time.
School guys,
like, no, that's not an answer. It's not a cop-out. No. Like, he either needs to change or she might have to remove him from her life. Like, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, if he's not going to change or take responsibility for what he's done, that's part of moving forward in any relationship, whether that be with your father, spouse, friend, whomever. Like, if you're gonna move on, you have to address what you've gone through. And for Larsa to stick her nose in it is ridiculous. It was so dumb. But that's when we finally get to Alexia. And woof.
Dude, I have been practicing the face that she does.
Really?
Do you know the face that I'm talking about?
I don't want to.
When other people are talking and she's like freaking out, and she puts her head back like this, and she looks up, and then she's looking down at you from up here, and then she goes like this and starts shaking her head.
Wait, I did it. You didn't let me do it. I was doing it.
Let's do it.
No, it's too late. No, you asked if I could.
I was practicing it all day, so this was my big reveal.
This is your moment. I'm not allowed in your bits tonight.
Well,
Great.
no, actually, YouTube saw both.
Hey,
so we'll be able to
YouTube.
clip that and show that out.
Forget you're over there.
Look at you over
Look
there.
At you looking
all
good over there, all
red and white
YouTubey shit. Anyway,
no, that fucking face, like, and I always think about the Barracuda too, but like, I can't stand it, and I'm so happy that even Marisol, when Alexia was talking tonight, was like at a loss of words. She just couldn't even defend her girl Alexia.
No, she was erratic. It made no sense, and
she was awful.
She contradicted herself almost every other sentence.
Yeah.
She was saying like, the only thing I do agree with it from a narcissist standpoint is that I'm very self-confident. Everything else is like blah, blah, blah. And then she slowly starts to explain things. And I'm like, yeah, you sound like a narcissist because you were destined for this.
Your parents refusing to
this.
apologize. Like, no, I'm not going to apologize to something that I don't truly believe. That's just who I am. It's like, yeah, but you just did the same terrible thing to somebody else that you condemn someone else for.
Yeah, it's contradictory.
And
It's-
agreed with it. And then if somebody brings it up, you say, well, yeah, that was terrible. Okay, well, you did that same thing. Do you feel bad about that?
No.
No, because I believed it in that moment. Like, who the fuck are you? That is narcissism.
That's textbook narcissism.
That is the definition that Adriana printed out, or it looked like she actually like cut it out from a
It
dictionary.
did look like she cut it out of like a magazine or something.
Was it in a magazine, you think?
I don't know. I think it
I
was.
pictured her going to the Free Library of Miami and actually just cutting it out of the dictionary. There's no way she has a dictionary at home.
But she says that people resent that she's resilient.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? Who resents you for being resilient? Who's out here saying, God, I wish you went down with your drug cartel husband, you resilient bitch? Like, no one's talking shit about you. Like,
She's just talking about the haters.
that's not haters. They're not hating on your resilience. They're hating on you being a hypocritical asshole to everybody in the group. There's a reason that side of the room can't stand you. And your confidants are Larsa fucking Pippen and Marisol, who claims that Nicole drinks more than her. This chick never is without a cocktail. And she says it's for branding. Like, what are you talking about?
What are we supposed to do? Like, be on the lookout for Marisol's like line of bedazzled shitty.
No,
little
she is
flasks?
dropping a cocktail line. That is real.
God.
She's dropping a cocktail line. But
we
for
can do
her
a
to say
live
that it was
reveal,
branding,
I'll try them all and spit them all out.
we don't know previous seasons. This is our first dive into
Mhm.
Miami. So has she always done the cocktail thing? Can people let us
Probably.
know? Like, let us know if cockies were a mainstay, because if they are, this is not branding. This is you.
The question, which I applaud Andy for picking that question or whoever picked it, because we talked about it all season. Like, this is not right. We shouldn't be putting a spotlight on a woman who
Doesn't eat.
tells us that she doesn't eat, that she goes to a fat doctor who says you should be avoiding these types of foods, and we never see her eat. She's always drinking. She just parades around how much that she drinks and makes jokes about it all the time. It's got to make a lot of the audience a little uneasy.
I don't
and
like it.
I didn't like. I drink, and I had a fucking problem with it. Like, that was problematic for me. And Andy asked the question, and instead of her just taking it, she tries to explain it away, says that she doesn't drink as much as it
She
shows in the show,
rationalizes.
and then says somebody else drinks more than she does.
Nicole.
We all drink in this group. Like, no, not to your extent. And if they do, then they're doing it quietly. And then they try to spin it into Nicole's behavior, which, by the way, she said she punched her in the arm.
And she like
She didn't. She put her arm.
barely
Marisol put her
barely
arm
pushed
on
her.
Nicole's shoulder, and she lightly. Well, it was more of a shove, but like, get your fucking arm off of me. Like, anybody, it's whatever. That's the action that she points to immediately, because Andy and a viewer asked if they thought it was problematic that Marisol drinks so much.
And that's where we got to.
That's how we got there. Like, that's crazy to
Well,
me. That is psychotic behavior.
That's rationalizing a drinking problem.
Yes.
That's what that is. It's going to multiple lengths to be like, no, I don't have a problem. This is why I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to point the finger at somebody that does have a problem. Nicole's an alcoholic. What?
And everybody at the same time is just like, what are you fucking
Yeah,
talking
where are
about?
we
Like,
going with
no.
this? It makes no sense. But then we get back to Alexia, and it's her and Adriana going back and forth. How she rents men for TV because they want to be on TV and blah, blah, blah. And how she won't apologize for claiming that this man was married, which 100% should have. But then Adriana breaks out receipts from 2020,
Mhm.
and she's like, well, let's not forget, you tried to get me to hook up with a married guy. I said no because I have morals.
Yeah.
Lexi's like, I don't remember saying that. Like, she goes with the I don't remember defense. And the funniest, like, most Larsa Pippen moment, most Larsa
Oh my
Pippen thing to
God.
do. She's like, why would you bring receipts? It's like a really gross thing to do. Like,
Yeah.
read text messages.
messages.
Have you watched any Bravo show, period? Not just Housewives, like reunions
Yeah.
come with receipts. What people
Always.
make bedazzled diamond boxes and binders and extravagant items to throw in the face of other women.
Yep.
What are you talking about, Larsa?
Not to mention that the receipt that Adriana had was pretty damning of Alexia.
Extremely, and
She was
especially
specifically urging Adriana to go hook up with this married man, and that she did not care. She, being Alexia, did not care, and said, I think that he's pretty unhappy in his marriage anyway, so who cares?
but 2023 Alexia has an issue with it.
Yeah, and can't read a full court document that she went out of her way to print out to prove that this man is actually married with the same woman that she was urging to hook up with a married man years ago. So like it just doesn't make any sense. She just contradicts herself all the time. She's hypocritical and she's narcissist. Like, what do you want?
It's impossible to unravel and unwind. Like it's literally impossible. And then Larsa just needs to like kick rocks.
Yeah.
Like Lisa is sitting there and in her explanation trying to help you defend yourself. And you clap back with, well, maybe if you had a little more self confidence, you wouldn't have let
Yeah.
Lenny do those things to you.
Like that, and there's just no awareness there. Like you need as much support as possible. Not that I think that Lisa would really speak out against anybody on the other side of the room. I honestly think that Lisa's gone through so much this year.
She's neutral.
Yeah, she's so
That's why
neutral.
she said
she's not
everybody
getting
was
involved.
embarrassing.
Yes, she's fine if other people are going to get into fights because that's going to distract her from what's going on in her life, and she's good with that. But she's not going to insert herself. She's not going to back anybody up. She's just going to watch. So don't jump down her throat because you're going to push her to the other side of the room.
Well, you can see what happened. She got frazzled. She got caught up.
Oh,
got
she would have
backed
lashed
into a
out
corner.
if Andy said something.
It
she would
didn't
have
matter
lashed
who
out,
was
yeah.
talking. Yeah, she was going to come back at him. And unfortunately for Lisa, it was her because she was legit trying to help your argument. And then you fucking got as close to the
messy.
Adriana comment. It wasn't as bad as Adriana's comment because that's the worst thing ever said by a housewife about Frankie, for sure. But you got really fucking close.
Really close.
You got really close because this has been a horrible divorce that we've watched unfold over this season. And for you to do that on somebody trying to defend you, you dumbass.
Yeah, that's a tough look.
It was a bad look.
I don't know. 2 more episodes of this, we'll have to see how it goes.
We'll see if we
Might check
on
out after the second one.
Honestly, because after that, I don't have much more fight left in me, coach.
Nope.
But that takes us to the question portion of the show. Sheesh. We got a lot. All right, let's jump in. From Ronnie Boy 22, have your friends heard about your podcast and how have they reacted to it? Great question, Ronnie.
That is a good question, Ronnie. Yeah, they've heard about it and they are fully supportive.
They are.
A lot of them are like, they don't really know Bravo because I mean, most of them guys. Like, I don't get it, but
we support you.
It's cool.
I get a lot of that. It's funny. It has changed over time. In the beginning, I did get a lot of dudes that were like, really, dude?
Yeah,
Really?
I didn't get any of that.
You didn't? I did. I was like, really, bro? You're like a Bravo podcast? And I was like, really, bro? You're tougher than Bravo? Like, what are we doing here? Why do people give a fuck what anybody watches on TV?
Yeah.
If you're sitting at home watching cartoons at 50 years old, I don't care. Do what makes you
It's called anime, bro.
Yeah. And it's cool. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. From Not Courtney Stage, in light of hashtag Scandoval, do you guys think Lala is being a hypocrite still? Yeah, she didn't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, I don't like that she's like taking every opportunity to do press.
No,
and
it's a
she's
bad
spinning things, and I mean, it looks like she did just sign a deal. 6 figures is what I saw with some sort of fashion company. I forget who it was. So that's cool. But she's spinning all of this press that she's getting about Sandoval into herself, and I hate it.
Yeah, no, it's not a good look. And no, like it didn't change our stance. Like she said all this shit before she knew. That is such a crucial part that is going to get like glossed over so many times during this.
Well, I bet if somebody were to ask her now, she would like, oh, did you have an indication that Raquel was doing something shady? She would have been like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I knew.
Like, no,
I knew.
you didn't. You're just being an asshole.
The fucking hindsight on this whole thing over the course of the season, because we're still early on. The hindsight is going to be annoying as fuck.
Yep.
From Mad Martini 1027, do you think Bravo should drop Marge or the Gorgas?
Gorgas, I'm coming around on dropping them. Only if they just continue this. Because there's really nothing else going on. If they just continue to mix up with the Teresa bullshit, they gotta go. Like, somebody's gonna have to go. Maybe Teresa goes and does her own thing, and then you give the Gorgas a year and see how that pans out. And if it doesn't work, then they go, and then you just revamp the whole show with Danielle. But I could see, I think Marge she's a veteran. She plays the game the right way. She's annoying as shit when she starts yelling, but she can mix things up when there's no other storyline. So I like that.
Yeah, I think you need Marge. Unfortunately, she's a necessary evil, so to speak. I think that. Let me prove it right now. Tell me one thing going on in Joe and Melissa's life that is not Teresa or Louie oriented. Anything. It could be anything.
Joe's being sued because he...
No. Not from what we saw on Instagram. on the show, from
Oh, on the
watching the
show.
show, from watching what they're presenting.
They're
Tell me
building
one
a
thing.
house, I think. Yeah,
That's my
about it.
point.
Yeah.
That's my point right there. What's Teresa doing? She's going to therapy, trying to better herself. She's with Louie. She's with the girls. What's Frank
Yeah.
doing? Frank's trying to figure out his relationship with Dolores. He's trying to figure out his relationship with Paul. What's Marge doing? Marge has a broken wrist and she's starting shit with everybody. Like, she has a dynamic with
Yep.
Fessler, Jen, and Bill. Like, people have their shit. What do Joe and Melissa
I got
have?
nothing.
Zero. That's it. That's all.
Yep.
It's not us being tree stands. It's just fact.
It's a good point.
I'll give you this one because you were talking about you are the fashion police. The
Let's
resident
go.
fashion police.
Shooter's Fashion Corner.
So from longtime listener / Vision Fit member Kate Quenzer, the fuck is Katie wearing on Watch What Happens Live?
Ooh, yeah. I called that out. It's funny because Colleen actually texted me and she's like, "What the fuck is Katie wearing?" And I was thinking the same thing. It looks like she had a dress on. Maybe she had a dress malfunction. She put an aloe yoga hoodie on top. That's the best I can come up with.
What did you think of it?
Fucking terrible. Jesus.
I thought she looked great.
Ugh.
I thought she looked great.
There was definitely a dress under that hoodie, right?
Look, it's called fashion, dude.
That is not fashion.
You don't live in LA.
That is, I think, a strap on her dress broke and she just scrambled and grabbed the hoodie and threw it on top.
That's what you think happened?
Yes.
All right.
That
well,
is legitimately what I think happened.
there's our answer. All right, 2 more. From Cammy B97, do you think Jen Aiden will ever divorce Bill?
We talked about that with Zach today. I'm a little confused on it. So some of it's cultural, right? I think she's Turkish, right?
Yeah.
And wasn't it an arranged marriage too?
With Bill?
I think so.
I don't know.
I'm not really positive on that. So
Yeah, we shouldn't say that if we don't know.
That's a good point. So some of it's cultural. I don't know because I do know some of, Jen's background, and I don't know that divorce is part of that. So I feel like they're going to try to stick it out. I mean, it's just, if it gets to a point where he's just completely checked out, a la Lenny, and he's cheating on her all the time, then it would be best for her to do it.
Yeah, and from like the cultural standpoint, I'm basing that off of her parents. Like her mom has
Mhm.
openly talked about how much she hates her husband and wished that she wasn't with him and all that, but they
Yeah.
stayed together for so long. Honestly, yeah, I do. I think they're gonna get divorced.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna make it. I think that
It's a shame.
she's finding a voice, and I think that that's a good thing. And I think that if she continues to go down that path and realizes she really doesn't have a partner, she has enough very strong personalities around her to be like, you need to leave.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Last one from the Shay 812, and we're going to address this because it's important. What happened to 2 podcasts a week? Y'all are my addiction, other than Bravo, Obvi. They're coming.
Yeah, they're coming. We're figuring out the schedule with new shows. We're trying to get through this reunion period. Potomac's done.
We got reunion.
Miami's done.
Yeah.
It seems like. So we only have a couple of shows there.
Once
But
we get past the reunions, we can like start to map out the new. It's
Yeah.
tough because we get new reunions every week, and that's
Mhm.
like it throws a whole different wrench into this whole thing. So
Yeah.
once those settle down, once we're through reunion season, then we'll have 2 a week. But we are getting there. We promised them. They are coming. So
plus, I need to quit my job so I can just do this full time.
yeah, so do I. So like keep listening. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
We did that already.
Yeah, 5 times. That's a quintuple
Good.
plug.
Ah,
Yeah.
Good plug.
Anyone that says we don't plug, we plug.
Yeah. Listen to this episode.
But that's all I got. I'm exhausted. I'm emotionally spent. I do feel better. That's the one thing I've noticed about this because I start a lot of
it's
these
like a therapy
episodes. It
session.
is. I feel better afterwards,
Yeah.
which is in tune with our episode because this is sponsored by BetterHelp. Another plug. I'm a plug
Hey,
machine,
plug
baby.
machine.
Let's wrap this shit up. I'm getting delirious.
All right.
Remember, live show April 27th. Please buy tickets. Come hang out with us. If you get VIP for $29, which is not much, you can come hang out with us before the show for an hour. They'll meet and greet with the bros. Get to meet Zach. Show starts at 7. We'd love to see you all there. But other than that, I need to go to bed.
Me too. See you next week.
BravBros are out of here.